Next, we head to Warren, Ohio for a trial. 18-year-old Gavin Roberts has been charged with 2 counts of aggravated murder, aggravated robbery, and burglary. 11 months earlier, Roberts allegedly arranged to sell a mobile phone to 37-year-old Bryce Hilton. According to police, Bryce soured on the deal and tried to leave. That's when Roberts shot him multiple times. Several witnesses were in the area and called 911. Paramedics took Bryce to a hospital, but he died from his injuries. With help from the community, police soon arrested Roberts. He pled not guilty, and today, at day 2 of his trial, Roberts is seated alone at the defense table when a member of the gallery stands up and makes his way towards him. That's 32-year-old Destin Gregory, a relative of the victim. After jumping the banister, he lands a few punches on the defendant. Deputies take action, one of them managing to roll Gregory away from Roberts. The courtroom is clear as the struggle continues. Ultimately, it takes several deputies to restrain Gregory and remove him from the courtroom. He was charged with assault and resisting arrest and prohibited from returning to the courtroom. Gregory was released on $2,500 bond. His case is pending. As for Roberts, after court security was increased, the trial continued. After 3 days of deliberation, the jury found him guilty of murder and burglary, but acquitted him of aggravated robbery. He was sentenced to 42 years to life in prison. He'll be eligible for parole after 25 years, when he'd be 42 years old. Next, we head to Conway, South Carolina for a sentencing hearing. 28-year-old Stephon Johnson has pled guilty to manslaughter. 2 years earlier, Johnson shot and killed 20-year-old Shaquan Cox near a community park. Police say the 2 men did not know each other and no motive was released in the shooting. Today, after being sentenced to 12 years in prison, bailiffs begin escorting Johnson from the courtroom when suddenly, the man moving towards Johnson is 31-year-old Terrence Cox, the victim's brother. And this person nearly grabs hold of Cox before he steps over a gallery railing and heads straight for Johnson. But he's cut off as this quick-thinking deputy puts Cox in a bear hug and keeps him from reaching the defendant, who's now just inches away. As bailiffs remove Johnson from the scene, 3 officers struggle to subdue Cox. Then this unidentified woman comes flying in to jump on the pile. She briefly gets tangled up with another spectator, but eventually leaves the courtroom and was not charged. Cox was held in contempt of court and sentenced to 3 days in jail. As for Johnson, he was sentenced to 12 years in a state prison plus 5 years probation. He'll have no chance at parole. We head to Louisville, Kentucky for a hearing. 31-year-old Paul Wade has been charged with 2 counts of murder and possession of a handgun by a convicted felon. 3 weeks earlier, 25-year-old Alexis McCrary and 26-year-old Edward Smith, who lived together, were both shot and killed on the same afternoon, a short distance away from each other. When police reviewed surveillance footage of the crime scenes, they spotted who they believe is Wade pulling the trigger. One of Wade's associates, 32-year-old Maurice Gibson, told police he gave Wade a ride home after the shootings, so he was charged with being complicit to murder. Wade, who was already on probation for drugs and firearm possession, was charged with both murders. Police had no motive for the shootings. Today, Wade appears before Judge Ann Haney for an arraignment. Shadowing the judge is an 8th grade student who's interested in someday becoming a judge. Seated in the gallery are family members of the 2 victims, who immediately got off on the wrong foot with the courtroom deputy.
Shh, quiet in court.
Quiet.
Okay, hold on. One more outburst, and I will lock you up.
Ma'am, you're gonna have to leave the courtroom. You have to.
Say what it was a misunderstanding, I promise.
Okay. I believe you.
We all family.
No talking in the courtroom.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all. Go ahead.
Things appear to be back under control. But since Wade's attorney isn't in court today, Judge Haney reschedules the hearing for a later date. But as Wade is removed from the courtroom, he mutters an expletive toward the family members in the gallery. Several family members hop over the railing to go after Wade. And chaos ensues. Wade escapes through an open door behind the bench, which leads to a hallway and the judge's chambers, while the judge and the terrified 8th grader can only watch. Deputies pursue the family members who chased Wade down the hallway, while Judge Haney hits the panic button, alerting security. More deputies arrive to help and head for the hallway skirmish, while other family members try to remain calm. Judge Haney steps down from the bench to help keep the peace.
The best thing you can do is just stay calm.
Yes, ma'am.
Just stay calm.
Get him out.
The melee goes on for 20 minutes as deputies use pepper spray in an attempt to defuse the situation. 4 people from the gallery were arrested and charged with disorderly conduct and obstructing government operations, both misdemeanors. Wade was unhurt. His case is pending and he has yet to enter a plea. As for Maurice Gibson, he's pled not guilty and his case is also pending. We go to District Court in Roseville, Michigan for a preliminary hearing. 32-year-old Jeffrey Clark has been charged with first-degree murder, weapons possession by a felon, and 2 counts of possession of a weapon during a felony. 4 months earlier, Clark got into a late-night argument outside his girlfriend's apartment with her ex-boyfriend, 28-year-old Jure Robertson. Before long, shots were fired, first by Clark, according to prosecutors, and Jure escaped on foot. But Clark's girlfriend, Tamara Scott, says they drove after him. The 2 caught up with Jure in a parking lot. Clark, the defendant, exited the car and allegedly shot Jure multiple times, leaving him for dead. Clark and Scott fled the scene and met up at Clark's brother's house. At the time of the shooting, Clark was on probation in a fleeing from police case and had a tether on his ankle. He was arrested later that night. Scott, Clark's girlfriend, was charged with accessory after the fact, but agreed to testify against Clark in hope of receiving a reduced sentence. Today, Clark, who's being held without bond, appears in court, surrounded by family members from both sides. He listens in as Scott testifies that Clark was the person who shot Jure.
He proceeded to tell me that he would kill me if I told on him. He told me exactly what he did to Mr. Robertson, He told me that Mr. Robertson begged for his life and that the only thing he was worried about was that he was on tether.
Afterwards, when the state plays the surveillance footage of the shooting, the moment becomes too painful for one member of Jeray's family. The man in red is Jerry Robertson, the victim's twin brother, who lunges at the defendant and lands a few punches. Clark defends himself and tries to throw a punch of his own. But his arms are linked to a waist restraint. Bailiffs soon take control of the situation, and Clark is pulled away.
Man, they gonna see you.
Things appear to have settled down. But then Clark's father shouts at Robertson.
You don't hear, you hear him. Man, he killed us with the Holy Spirit.
Cooler heads eventually prevail.
I'm sorry. I am sorry.
But as Robertson's placed in cuffs and led away, Clark's father has a final comment.
Put him in there with myself. Go ahead. Put him in there.
Best sound, old man.
Knock it off.
Best sound. Best sound. Go.
After the two men are separated, the video of Jeray's death continues to haunt Robertson.
You still shooting. You on the ground already, you still shooting. He begging you not to kill this man.
Jerry Robertson later pled no contest to disturbing the peace and was sentenced to 12 months probation. Tamara Scott's sentencing is pending. And as for Jeffrey Clark, he's pled not guilty, and his case is pending. Next, we go to Haywood County, North Carolina, for the case against Tony Coleman. He's charged with murder and felony child abuse in the death of Kyler Presnell, who was only 17 months old. Kyler was staying with Coleman, the child's step-grandfather, since both of his parents were incarcerated at the time. The baby was found unresponsive by Coleman's wife, Sabara, who had returned from work and called 911.
I got a 17-month-old not breathing. Please hurry.
How do we know he's not breathing?
He's blue. I'm a CNA. My husband's doing CPR.
Responders initially thought Kyler died of carbon monoxide poisoning, but an autopsy revealed he died from blunt force trauma to the head. Coleman was charged in Kyler's death, but instead of going to trial, he entered an Alford plea, which allows him to accept guilt without admitting he committed the crime. After making his plea, prosecutor Jeff Jones describes the various injuries the child suffered to the court, which is filled with devastated family members.
Mainly, there's an injury that is up here in the front left side of the head on the outside, and a corresponding injury in the back right side of the brain, which the pathologist tells us is indicative of a forceful head strike.
But as Jones continues to describe the injuries, it becomes too painful for one member of the gallery.
You're lucky, motherfucker.
Courtney Presnell, the victim's father.
You're lucky, motherfucker. You're a lucky motherfucker. What you are, you're lucky you get to go to prison, because I'll kill you. You ever set foot on never again again.
Once Presnell's removed and things calm down, the judge sentences Coleman to 20 to 25 years in prison. But after 3 years behind bars, Coleman died at age 56 of what they say were natural causes, according to a statement released by the North Carolina prisons.